rounding to the nearest hundredth. General rule, we talked about this already. When the digit on the right is 5 or more, you're going to round up. When the digit on the right is 4 or less, then you're going to keep the digit the same in whatever place value that you're rounding to. Fun ways of learning this: 5 or above, give it a shove; 4 or below, let it go; or some kids like to say 5 or more, raise the score. Quick review on vocabulary. Make sure you know the place values to the right of the decimal point. The first place value is called the tenths, next one's called the hundredths, next one's called the thousandths. On this video, we're going to be talking about rounding to the nearest hundredth. Now remember, that is the second digit to the right of the decimal point. So what do you look at if you're rounding to the nearest hundredth? Well, you look at the digit to the right of the hundredths, which would be the thousandths. Whatever that digit is will determine how you round the hundredths. So, is 7 big enough to make the 4 round up? Well, yes, it is. Since 7 is 5 or more, we're going to round up the 4 to 13.65. Notice the other digits to the left are not going to change. Another example, what if it's 13.641? Well, this time, the digit to the right of the hundredths is only a 1. That's not big enough to make the 4 round up. Therefore, this is going to stay 13.64. Here's another example, 892.104. We're rounding to the hundredths. The 0 is in the hundredths. Now we have to look to the digit to the right of that, always to the right. That is only a 4. Therefore, the 0 is going to stay a 0, making this become 892.10. Notice I kept the 0 there because the directions are requiring me to round to the nearest hundredth. I have to keep a digit in the hundredths. What about 4.796? Well, in this case, the digit to the right of the hundredths is a 6, which would make the 9 in the hundredths place value round up. But how do I round that up? It would become a 10, which makes the hundredths place value a 0. But what do I actually do here with the 1 from the 10? Well, you would carry the 1, making the 7 increase by that 1, making it 4.80. Again, I'm keeping the 0 in the hundredths place value because the directions required me to round to the nearest hundredth. Now, since we're talking about rounding to the nearest hundredth, I need to point out round to the nearest cent is the same thing as rounding to the nearest hundredth, except you're going to have a dollar sign, because dollars and cents always have 2 digits to the right of the decimal point, and 2 digits to the right makes it the place value of the hundredths. So, changing the directions a little bit, but it's not going to change the game. Round to the nearest cent. Cent is the 2 digits to the right of the decimal point, and that second digit is called the hundredth, so it's the same game we've been playing. Always look to the digit to the right of that. In this case, it is only 3 thousandths. Now, it doesn't matter that there's a 5 in the 10 thousandths. Does not matter. We're rounding to the nearest cent. Cent is the hundredths. Look to the right of that. 3 is not big enough to make the 7 round up, so it's going to become $20.17. Here's another example. What if it was 20.177? This time the digit to the right is a 7. And since that's 5 or more, we're going to round this up to $20.18. One more example for you. 5.9982. The 2 does not matter. We're looking to the digit to the right of the hundredths, and that's an 8 on the right. That is big enough to make the 9 round up. But how do I round that up? Well, it would round up to a 10. We talked about this before. You put a 0, you carry the 1, which makes this 9, also become a 10. So we put a 0, carry a 1 again. That's right, this could happen. And that makes the $5 become $6. Yes, I'm keeping the .00 because the directions required me to round to the nearest cent.